Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kitchen Table Talk Live with Boy TV. Pull up a seat to my kitchen table because I got something to say. Oh, yes, there's some bad stuff going down, baby. And it all need cleaned up. I said it need cleaned up. When you're cleaning up, just cleaning up. Y'all know what time it is. Come on up in the room. Yes, indeed. Baby, they doing too much. Oh, wash, scrubber, cleaning up. I said cleaning up. Just cleaning up. Yes, indeed. Hi, Slappy. Hi, Newbie. What's up, Silent? Hello, everybody. Come on in. We're going to do some chit-chatting and figure out what's going on while we clean it up. Figure out and then clean it up. We just going to clean it up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome to Kitchen Table Talk Live with Boy TV. Listen, I started this off yesterday. We started yesterday talking about Miss Flame Monroe and her stint that she's having on the Breakfast Club. She's over on the Breakfast Club as a special guest. And I'm looking at this. Let me get on. Y'all see Flame. See, the thing is about the Breakfast Club, sometimes when people got gripes with you, sometimes you look nice. And that'll throw the little gripe off. But she ain't even got that to lean on because it's a radio show. There's only visuals when you're on YouTube. Other than that, they're listening to her on the radio. So you can't even fall back on nice hair or nice clothes or nice boobs or good fingernails. You can't even fall back on none of that with this mess that's going on. You really can't. You just got to get on out there and do what you do. Be who you are and hope that it works out. Well, unfortunately, it seems as though it's not working out. Baby, when I tell you that the fans of the Breakfast Club are throwing water on Miss Flame and giving her, honey, put that out, honey. Put that fire out, honey. Put that out. It is a mess. It's a mess. Now, I came to you all yesterday, and I talked to you all about it a little bit, about what was going on and what I saw and that kind of thing. We know Flame. We know what Flame gives. Flame is controversial. Flame don't always go along with the get along. Flame got her own mind and her own version of what it is that she wants to do and how she wants to do it. And her views are not always the same as the rest of her community. And sometimes it causes her trouble. But doesn't she have a right? Doesn't she have a right to have her own opinions? Somebody wrote that in my comments, that she has a right to her own opinions. And you are exactly right. Yes, she does. She has a right to her own opinions just like everybody else. She does. But that ain't really what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. I seen it, so I definitely wanted to address it in my chat, because this chat we are going to talk. I'm not just going to talk at y'all. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to come up and have a say about this, because I thought it was kind of problematic yesterday, but what I saw today, it's way bigger than what I just was looking at. I thought it was just a few people, trolling for the most part. I felt like they were trolling her while she's on the show. And, trolls do what trolls do. Trolls are aggravating. That's what they do. And there's trolls that call in, and there's trolls that come down in the chats live, and they just nitpick. That's what they do. They ain't got no life. A troll is a lifeless whore. They ain't got no life. So I'm thinking that this was just a thing of like trolling, but it really is a lot bigger than this. It really is. Hello, Sephora. Welcome, darling. It's a lot bigger than what I actually thought, because when I really sat and thought about it, I said, this is kind of how Sherri Shepherd ended up with the Wendy show and the Wendy show spot. We got Angela Yee is gone. And are they possibly looking for a replacement for Angela Yee? Because the show was 3 people. There was always a female, and then there was the other two gentlemen. So are they looking for a replacement for Angela Yee? And I started looking, and they're doing the exact same thing that they did on the Wendy show. We got all these different guests, Just Hilarious, and Ray J's been on, and quite a few other folks have actually come across there. And I'm like, this is the same way this stuff started. And this is how Sherri Shepherd got her show. So truly, I seen a comment. That's the thing. Today, everything was going just like it was going before. But the disrespect of Flame was getting even bigger. Like they were just like going there. They were going there, and in the comments, just dragging. When I say the Breakfast Club fans are not here for it, they were dragging, misgendering, and then that's a whole nother. See, I got so much that I got to say that I had to click my button. I got so much that I have to say. I said, I think I might have to pull my broom out, honey, and clean up, because it's just so much. You don't even know what direction to come. I don't even know. Am I coming to? I don't think Flame actually needs me to come to her rescue, but I'm a fan. I am a fan. Her politics ain't my politics. Her thoughts on certain things are not my thoughts on things, but Flame is who she is. She is legendary. She is a talented comedian. And hell, she's a person. She's a person. There go my buddy. Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandra Rogers. Alexandra Rogers has entered the building. Hi, Alex. Hi, love. What's up, baby? She's a person. She's a person. And she deserves to be treated well, like everybody. That fool done said federal. She deserves to be treated well when she comes somewhere and she's a guest. She deserves to be treated well like everyone else. Now, we know the Breakfast Club, child, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, but they ignorant. You know they ignorant. IGNIT, they ignorant. They give you true, basic what I give, kitchen table talk. That's what the Breakfast Club is. It is sort of kitchen table talk. Now they ignorant. And if you ever been to a black home, an African American home, we have kitchen table talk. It get ignorant at our kitchen tables. When we get to our kitchen table, I just happen to be sitting in the living room right now. But the kitchen and the dining area is back that way. So the ignorant just moves all throughout the first floor. Child, it get ignorant. You might hear some of any old thing at an African American house. And that is the thing that I'm cool with the Breakfast Club. See, I'm cool with them low blows and them all that swinging because that's how I grew up. See, I didn't grow up as a gay in a house where everything was color coded and candy ass. Child, my grandmother might say anything. Okay, that's how I grew up, so that don't bother me. But yeah, I see the homophobic remarks. Yes, I see the off-color jokes about gay colorism and anything else that they want to talk about. The show ignorant. The show is ignorant, and I'm cool with it. You must have a tough skin if you go over and you watch The Breakfast Club, period. Period. If you go over there, you got to have a thick skin. When Angela Yee was there, Angela would get attacked, and sometimes they didn't come to her rescue. Sometimes Angela would say off-color stuff. I mean, it's just an ignorant ass show. And that's just the way it is. Hi, Lord Karma. It's just the way it is. And listen, let me tell you something about Flame Monroe. If you've never had the Flame Monroe experience, the bitch is ignorant. She is. Flame Monroe's an ignorant bitch, okay? Flame will drag your boots. Do you understand me? That's how a lot of people got to know her. She was on BET. She was on BET. Another comedian, Ann, came for her, and she dragged her. I'm going to leave the woman nameless, but she dragged her. Dragged her. And it's one of them long lasting drags where it's always a drag no matter how many years go by. Sort of like that whole situation with like Selena Johnson and Nikki Gilbert on R&B Divas, when Selena really doesn't like when people bring it up. Sorry, Selena, you're a part of reality TV history, honey. You dragged Nikki Gilbert's boots, honey, and people will never forget it. They'll never forget it because it was hilarious. Dragged her boots. So it's one of those kind of things. That's how Flame got popular in the mainstream. See, I already knew Flame because Flame, y'all know I'm a drag queen and I'm from the pageant world. Flame was a pageant girl. She's a pageant girl, but she's really talented. She is. So again, like I said, I don't know that I'm actually taken up for or not really taken up for anything other than humanity. Nobody deserves to be. See, y'all gonna put it in the chat any old way. Look, see, because y'all ignorant over here at the kitchen table. Y'all ignorant. I tried to let it slide. I was trying to be nice, but yeah, she tore Miss Cheryl up at it, and I like Cheryl because Cheryl's ignorant. That's old ignorant. But listen, shut up, Alexander. Yes, God, honey. But anyway, so I don't know that I'm really. I guess maybe I am. Child, when it ain't right, it just ain't right. But Flame don't need nobody to fight for Flame. Flame know how to fight. Flame know how to rumble. Okay? Like she doesn't, that's why I said the misgendering part, I feel like they were misgendering her. They felt like they were misgendering her. Just like somebody on today, on the thing they uploaded, some guy called in and they're like, yeah, hey, Charlemagne, hey, Envy. Yeah, I don't know that other dude y'all got on there. No, he knows she ain't no dude, just trying to be funny. He trying to be funny. But again, see, did he really misgender her? Because see, some of this stuff Flame put on Flame. Because you get in there and you say, what is her little moniker, he, she, we. So it's kind of, you put yourself in a position where you really can't say that nobody is misgendering you because you go by all of it. You always claim you so real that you this, that thing, he, she, we. Yeah, so anything they say to you, you kind of got to swallow because you created that. So I don't know, Am I even at right to be able to say like he out of order? For me, I felt like he was out of order, and he was out of order because he felt like he was out of order. He thought he was being funny. He thought he was misgendering her. He was being funny. She's sitting up there with 10 loads of titties and all. If it looked like a she, it's a she. I ain't, you know. For me, what he did, he was misgendering her. But again, I don't want to save it so much because see, Flame, Flame be around. Flame's on YouTube. I don't know that she'd ever drop in here, but she might would come in here and tell me that he didn't. Then I'll be looking crazy. You know what I mean? So you just never know where she's at in her thought process. But I'm gonna say for me, I ain't like it. It was disrespectful. It was meant to be disrespectful, and she know it was meant to because she old bitch too, like me. She ain't crazy. She can play whatever game she want to play, but she ain't crazy. She know when somebody's trying to dishonor her, and they were trying to dishonor her, calling her dude and all of that stuff. They were. But this was the thing. When I was going through those comments is where I said, oh my God, this is like their fan base. Now, yes, there's some good comments in there, but there was like, I mean, dragging, just drag. And showing themselves some of this stuff. Oh, hold on. I got a few little things that I done pulled to the side. Let's get into it, shall we? A few little things that stood out for me, things that made me say, what? And I was wondering, I said, how long is she going to go before she actually fires back at someone? How long is Flame going to go before she fires back at somebody? Because her mouth is vicious. And I've seen a couple different comments. Let's see. Here's one right here. Somebody wrote in here. They wrote, the problem is that Flame is giving pick-me vibes and not standing up for herself with these rude-ass callers, shucking and jiving because she wants this spot on the show. It's clear she's bothered by the rude callers and the comments, but is not willing to speak up and risk causing a stir on the show. It's a cringe to see. Now, somebody wrote that in there in those comments. Yes, and maybe. But it is hard to watch. Especially somebody, that would be like me sitting somewhere, letting somebody drag me. My followers would be like, are you feeling okay? Because I don't play with people. I do not play with people. You are not dragging me. And trust me, if I'm sitting there letting you drag, you need to know that it's all part of a major plan. And when you ain't looking, I'm going to take your head off. That's just the way it is. So it's so out of character for her to just be taking it. And we're talking day after day after day. And I'm like, what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? And this is the thing. Now, when I was reading in that, shucking and jiving, see, I've always felt like her presence on the Breakfast Club was shucking and jiving. And it was the only reason why they always invited her back. Because she was the voice of the rainbow that was running off the rainbow into the forest. And that is, in a way, people consider shucking and jiving. And it does come across looking real crazy. It looks crazy. But that's what kind of made her their personal fave. Okay? So, all right. So some of that, can we really get mad at? Some of that is true. I can't get mad at what's true. I can't get mad at what's true. Would say the Breakfast Club just got big contracts with partnership with VH1 and also BET. That's huge. That is huge. But here's the thing. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because my grandmother always told me all money ain't good money. If this is what we got going on 2-3 days into you just coming as a guest, what does this look like on a daily basis. Are you serious? Right here, somebody wrote, OMG, Flame, yes, we used to love you at first, but now you are definitely getting on everybody's nerves. What? Just being there? Just being there? See, because y'all's discontent with trans has always been evident. It's always been evident. I've had people say, Maddie, I seen somebody in there wrote that they should bring Maddie instead of Flame. The way that this is being done, I'll tell you what, I love Maddie dearly. You know, she's a personal friend of mine. But they would give her the same fever that they give in Flame because y'all acting just like people after 45 got in office. Remember when 45 got in office and folks start saying exactly what they felt like they wanted to say to you and about you? That's what's going on here. It ain't about the look. It ain't about the actual persona. They would disrespect Maddie the same way they're disrespecting her because that is the demographic that hangs out at the Breakfast Club. You just got to be honest. Then somebody also wrote, oh yeah, B. Scott was here and they didn't do B. Scott like that. Didn't they? Was B. Scott even, was there a chance that B. Scott may have actually ended up there? Do you think that B. Scott would actually take a position there? Is there a risk that B. Scott may end up sitting in that seat? B. Scott will come through, but that ain't even B. Scott's. I mean, if this is what B. Scott does as a living, B. Scott would be an awesome addition to any type of show like that. But would B. Scott really fit in at the Breakfast Club? B. Scott's different. So no need. But the threat of you actually being there, like a Jess Hilarious. I seen comments about why is there a trans person? And I mean, just really, really bold, like it was bold and brazen. Some of the comments were bold and brazen. They just really, really were. They really were. Let me see. Here's somebody wrote, from having Angela Yee to having a transformer as a host on the Breakfast Club, and people still want to argue that the Breakfast Club hasn't fallen off. It's the delusion for me. It's about the trans situation. It really is about the trans situation and the way that they feel about specific people. It ain't about the talent. It ain't about whether she's funny. There's so much stuff about her voice, stuff about um her laugh. I mean, just nitpicky, petty, nasty. Nasty. And it wasn't nice nasty. It's blatant nasty. And it's nasty too. It's the whole, I don't, we don't want her. We're not going to be nice because we don't want her any. She was fine when she was doing our bidding. When she was agreeing with us. When she's agreeing with us about different things about the gays and stuff and the trans girls and stuff, she was all right then. But we don't want her like we'll have her for the family reunion for the first hour, but we don't want her back at Christmas. That's what it's given for me. Okay, I see Tex Coco said, I disagree on her being a sellout. I don't see. I don't know because I don't use that word for. I don't use the word sellout for. Some things I do think are intentional though, and it would fall in that way. Some things I think it's intentional, like yeah, well, I kind of feel that way, but I'm gonna go ahead and push it. Some things you would just keep to yourself. Some things are just kitchen table talk, and some things are going to be destructive. And sometimes you just keep that to yourself. So some things I do think is intentional. Hello, Gabor. Hi, baby. How are you? Maybe because her conversation has been more sexual now than it was initially, it made me uncomfortable. Has it been though? Because Envy and Charlemagne are very sexual all the time. All the time. Now, maybe she just is adding to it because I've seen some of that too. Like she says some things, but that's her comedy. That's her comedy. She's a comedian. She's a comedian. You say Flame represents Flame as an individual. What is the issue? I don't have an issue with it. Do it. Go for it. But those people on that show got an issue. Whatever that individual that she's presenting, at one time they were cool with her individuality. Now, all of a sudden, they're not. Why? Why? And why are they acting like that toward her? See, that's where the problem is. The issue is that her being an individual, because she hasn't changed. Her views and her stances have not changed. Her views and stuff have not changed. It's the treatment that she's getting that is actually changed. It's not on Flame's part. Flame can come across as a grouchy old man sometimes. Yeah, she got mad at, I was on a platform where she got mad and left, before. But things get heated, sometimes it's, because that's their life. When you're a trans person, it's their life that you're talking about. So, but she just, she presents herself in a way which is confusing. You don't know, you just never know. She's a wild card. But my thing is, I don't like the treatment she's getting. That's why I'm here. This is not whether I care for her politics or I think she's a sellout, or it ain't even about any of that. It's about the treatment coming toward her. So I guess, I am kind of taking up for her. I don't understand. I don't understand why. Why are y'all doing that? And then on top of that, girl, why are you there? Why are you there? Why are you where you're not wanted? What is it that you're trying to get out of it? Say she could be mean for no reason at all, or for no reason a lot. Like the video. Oh, thanks, Phoenix. I've never seen Flame as a pick-me. Having views that don't align with the community is her or him being an individual. Right. I haven't watched a lot of Flame on the Breakfast Club, but I saw a clip when Boosie were talking about him and T.I.'s conversation, and Boosie says he felt T.I. and she made a sexual joke about it, and I just turned it off. Well, you know her, child. She told me, she was like, oh, there's just something like, just some things just gonna be, that's just her. That's her banter. That's her banter. Maddie's banter is the same. Maddie's banter is the same. I don't think it's them. I don't think it's them. It's just, I'm just worried. I'm not worried, but I'm thrown off by why. Why has it like flipped over? She's being tolerated, and that's the problem. And they're not tolerating her anymore. So that's that. I guess that's it. Cooking. Flame wants to be accepted by the straight community. Right. And they're not. It's like they're throwing everything in her face at this point. Like, child, girl, we was featuring you. Girl, we really wasn't featuring you, child. That's what it gives. Let me drop this for anybody that wants to come up and have something to say. Hold on a second. Ever since DJ Envy brought his wife up on the Breakfast Club to co-host, the whole energy of the show has changed. Go where you celebrate it and not tolerate it. It's the skin. It's akin to black women sitting on Fresh and Fit and other manosphere platforms. Well, I don't because I ain't gonna give it all to the girls because the boys was being rude too, child. It was like it's just that whole. It's like that whole demographic just flipped on her. Like, I mean, am I shocked? Not really. I'm just shocked that they were so blatant with it. You say the gay community don't like her either. Oh yeah, they give her the blues. Child of Rainbow gives her the blues. Gives her the blues. Okay, here we go. Yeah, some of them comments that was just too much. I was like, oh my God. And again, I still say all this allowing the people because again, Envy and Charlemagne they can suppress some of it. They really could. But they ignorant, so it don't matter. So why should she give well, nobody accepts her? So fuck it. Live your life and take care of your kids. True. Now that there's a point to that. But isn't that like selling your soul to the devil? Isn't that's really no different than when people screaming about Illuminati and all that old other stuff? Isn't that the same thing? When you know your treatment of you is bad and you just roll with it and keep on, what are you actually gaining? That goes into all money ain't good money. Queen Tulsa?
Hi, Spiller Boy TV. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you for allowing me on. Um, One thing that I would like to say about Flame is very problematic, and the reason why I say that is he spews rhetoric because he likes to be called he, him, and we and all that, and it makes it seems to the audience that Flame is confused. And Flame puts a bad rep on the trans community because not everybody that's trans wake up one day feeling like a woman or wake up one day feeling like a man. That's not everybody's story. And with him having a big platform, um, he opened up the floodgates of the rhetoric.
Good point. Good point.
So it goes back to the point of, what will you do for $1? A lot of people were up on Caitlyn Jenner, but we still have to bring Flame to the carpet as well.
Hold on, Queen Tulsa. Here's a comment. Prolific Queen New York says she's playing a role. She doesn't advocate for anything but being black. Now that would be one way of looking at her, but that's even more problematic than
Yes.
anything else because that's like you playing in the trans community's face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's like you're playing in their face. Like you don't really give a shit about any of the trans stuff. You're using it to get what it is you want
Yeah.
off their backs. So that, my dear, that's even more. And I can't agree with that. I don't think she's playing a role like that. I think she really feels how she feels.
Oh
All
my
trans people
God.
are different. I think she feels how she feels. I think she does feel, man, I feel like a woman. I think she feels that way some days, and then other days she feels like her kid's father. I believe her. I believe her. That's why I never fight about it because it ain't my fight. I believe her.
No. Spiller Boy, let me jump in here. She's playing a role. She doesn't advocate for anything but being black. I agree with this statement right here because Flame lives a different type of life than other trans women. Some other trans women don't have access to the resources that Flame does. Flame comes on and lets everybody know that, he has a house, he's mom, he's dad. He says, daddy go work, make the money, mama spend the money. So it's like you're playing this mental game with society, thinking that we are confused.
Right. Okay,
I'll
let me
yield the
say
floor.
this one. It says she doesn't want to be a trans advocate. That's not her lane. Yes and no, because the thing, prolific queen, she jumps her ass into those spaces where they're looking for the trans advocate. So she don't get that out because she does jump her ass in those spaces. She does do that.
But she wants a moment. She
Hey, Mr.
wants a
James.
moment.
Hi,
Any
baby. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm all right.
I just want to explain. I love Flame. I love Flame in Flame's way. I just don't think this was the avenue for Flame. This was not Flame's audience. And the fact that she talks so much, I follow her podcast.
Mhm.
I like her when she does her things by herself. I've had the pleasure of seeing her live doing stand up. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Love Flame. This
Yeah.
is not the audience, baby. I'm sorry, Miss Mama. Love you. This is not the audience. It came off sometimes as tryhardy. And even going through, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, Mr. James. Because I have felt this way about this for the last couple of days. She's been hosting or guest hosting the Breakfast Club show. You're trying really hard, and I know Flame can be it can come off as pick me. It can. It just can sometimes when she's dealing with other people.
Hmm.
school Spiller Boy, they said somebody's sound is kind of watery.
Yeah. It's like Phoenix. Do you have your mouth against the phone?
It said if you like headphones.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Is this a
Yeah.
little better?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's a little bit muffled. But I'm making the best of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. That's better. That's better. But yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope. It is. But even with all of that, I don't think she deserves the treatment that she's getting. I don't think she deserves the treatment that she's getting. It's like if you don't want her there, then don't have her. You can cut it short. But to allow for their crowd to just do her like that every day, it's horrible. It is truly hard to watch. It's horrible.
Well, Spiller Boy, may I say something?
Hmm.
I just feel like
Is
she
is this
says that
a
she
little
can't.
better?
That's perfect.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'll let him finish.
But I just don't think this was her audience. I just don't think this was just her audience.
Right. And they never have been. That's my whole point. They never have been. They never have been. They never
And it,
have
it
been.
does it doesn't say anything to her as a talent, to her as a this just wasn't your audience. And even some of the comments in the Breakfast Club, a lot of them I read, they were the nasty ones, they were the
Mhm.
mean ones. But they were, this ain't a gay thing, it ain't a trans thing. I don't get it, bro. I don't understand it, bro. But she just wasn't funny. I ain't like her. I ain't like her laugh. I didn't like her commentary. And at certain points, I felt like trying to land a joke because you're a comedian. And I felt this with other hosts they have had.
Mhm.
You cheapen the moment of when they do try to have serious topics and you trying to land a joke. it just uh. Your Laugh and Learn podcast is amazing. Your stand up is amazing. Stick to that. This ain't it.
I agree. Like, why not have Hope Giselle come in and speak on and really inform the people in the correct way? I
Yes,
feel like
ma'am.
Hope Giselle is very
Knowledgeable.
knowledgeable and accolades behind her. First trans woman to go to NASA. I mean, when you
But
talk,
now, love Hope. I mean, Hope is the whole package, but the only part of the package that she's not is she not funny. She not funny. Hope Giselle is serious. She's there to deliver a message. She is our keynote speaker girl. That's who Hope is. So I would never even book Hope. If I was booking her out, I would not book Hope to be on like a breakfast club. I'm at my kitchen table. I basically would kind of think that the breakfast club would kind of be beneath Hope because what she does would be overshadowed by the kiki ha ha of it all.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
I can see that.
I feel like when Hope goes into a room, she and I don't know if you've seen her lately, she demands the respect. She demands, and I think that she would keep everybody on topic. And she does have a fun side. We just don't see that because they overshadow it with all these
But
videos, clips of
I
men.
could honestly see Hope doing like, for example, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before when they were attempted to do the story about the trans woman who was murdered by the young boy.
Mhm.
I could
Yeah,
see Hope
actually,
shedding
that was
light the
the
same way they
girlfriend
bring
grew
in
up with
certain
her.
guests about serious topics.
Right. On certain things, but just literally being on for a
A
whole
co-host, yeah.
Hope sitting there for a whole show.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I just wanted Hope to come in and to dissolve the misinformation that Flame put out there and for Hope to do some damage control and give people a different perspective like Flame has people out here thinking that trans women want to be called he, she, and
And
everything
we,
except
yes,
for
yes,
he,
yes.
she, we, except for, because I had one of Flame's followers do that to me. Oh, well, Flame said it. Flame is you have a voice, you have a platform. I say hang it up, go into retirement, like game over. It's it,
I
it's
don't
like
think
get
she
ready
has to
to
do
go into
that, but
assisted
I
living.
think she has to be cognizant and aware of the fact you're not at your comedy show. You're not at a club where your name is on the marquee.
Right.
You are reaching a broader audience at this point in your career, baby. You're gonna have to think about the things you say and how you say them and what they mean to the broader audience who have no desire to learn more. Who have no they're not invested in it. It's not their life. You get what I'm saying? So you have to you you can't keep
You have to respect other people's audience at the
correct.
end of the day.
Correct.
That's just like me coming over here acting a fool. No, I have to respect your audience, Spill Boy.
Yeah, but I think that I think that's why she was received well originally because she came in and her views are a lot. It was,
Were
what I mean? It was
palatable
like
to
minded
the
people.
heteronormative standard. Like
Her views were a lot of what their views were. And that's
correct.
why it was like, okay, girl, all right, come on. And now she's not there now. This is where I got so confused because she's not there now switching up and saying, okay, no, no, no. Now it's got to be like, no, she came back doing and saying the same stuff that she's been doing and saying. And now it's like, whatever, whatever. Okay, we got it. When you came in, we noticed, oh yeah, you're different. Okay, you ain't on all of that. You ain't arguing. You like, okay, you agreeing with us on some stuff. All right, well, that's fine. We got enough of that now. All
Well,
right,
Spill
girl.
it. See, that's the thing. She wants to have the moment all the time. Let somebody else have the moment. Why can't you just come in and be serious for a change?
Because
That's
she's not. She's a comedian. She's not
Yeah,
serious.
and that's the thing. And that's the thing, Mr. James. She's a comedian, but on a show like the Breakfast Club of a like daily show, there's gonna come a point where
You got to be
I
serious
would
as
like to
well.
know who you are. Everything is not a joke. Everything is not a. What is your actual thoughts on the topic? Fun, light, serious. What's your actual thought? If everything is a but don't bump moment, it this is not her audience. I'm sorry. It is not her audience.
Hey, Dominique,
Hey James,
how are you?
I'm a little anxious because this is real crazy the way this conversation going because I'm kind of confused. We got on to the other lady, and I know that your topic was flame, but then it's like, ain't this lady allowed to be herself? Now your whole subject about her not being in the right space at that time, that is completely relevant. That's the whole basis of the problem. I don't
Yes,
know what
ma'am.
the hell she was doing up there with them. Like you said earlier, ignorant people in that ignorant audience. It don't matter what topic they could be talking about the Revolutionary War. It don't matter how serious the topic. There's some ignorant people.
Right,
They
because she
don't
wasn't
care.
doing anything or saying anything different. She was
She will be
still
herself.
agreeing with what they were saying. She was completely in agreement with what they were saying, but it was just her. Like they just didn't want her.
And that's what made it so terrible because they invited her because of the way she is able to move in all of these different spaces. She did a real good job of talking to some of anybody. I don't know if anybody watched her with RZA, brother RZA, but I'm
Yes,
not no
yes, yes.
revolutionary. But at the same time, he held her to high regard. Like he made her feel like she was family. You know what I'm saying? And if you bring somebody on for an interview, that's what you're supposed to do. She was supposed to cuss them the hell out. That's what she was supposed to do. I thought
I
she was gonna get up and start talking. She was supposed to pull a whatchamacallit. You ain't the one. You better what your old buddy told her, Charlamagne. She was supposed to get up and tell somebody something about themselves. Like, how y'all gonna let these people do this?
but
Hang up the phone. I would have been like, hang up. She
Yeah,
ain't
because
gonna
I
do
that's
that.
usually
honestly
her. Like the last time her and I were on Maddie's, because that's the
Mhm.
first time that I actually got to speak to her
Yeah.
directly. You know, and I said something that she didn't care for too much. She didn't like chop my head off, but she let me know, well, no, I don't think that way, sis. And then she went on. But then as we went on, something else came up and she went the hell off. She went the
Mm.
hell off and ended up dropping off. Like she showed her whole entire ass at Maddie's. And you know, Maddie's is like home, like a
She's
second home for Flame. You know, she'd come in there and
Right.
lay on the couch. You know what I mean? So it is strange to see her, and maybe that's why I pushed the button. Like I felt like I needed to fight, you know,
I
to
was
fight
so
or
happy
speak
you
up
did.
for her because I just was bothered by the way. Because at the end of the day, she's
I
still.
think I think with the crowd though, again, not her audience, is not the Breakfast Club crowd is not her crowd.
Well, what is her crowd?
the
She's
ones
a
that misgender trans people. Go
Okay, no.
no,
What
no.
Don't
is
get me
her
wrong.
crowd
Don't
really
no.
that
Hold
she
on.
got
Wait a
so?
minute. Don't get me wrong. The homophobia and the transphobia was present, but I think it's one of the things the audience of the Breakfast Club didn't like her. So when they start scratching and clawing like we want a different host, you grab the low hanging fruit. I
Because they
don't.
didn't care what she was. They don't like trans
Right,
people.
right. No,
Period.
you're right,
She can talk
and
about
that's the
whoever she
easiest thing to
wants.
say.
Yeah, and
You
they
know
just
how it
didn't
is
feel
when you
like
get
they
into it
had
with
to hide
somebody
it
and y'all
anymore. They
doing
just
that,
but
But
and
they
the first
still
listen,
thing they want to call
confused
you
why
is the
she
F
there.
word. The
but guess what? Why not go in somebody that's already confused? He, she, we. Are we not
Confused about
looking at
what?
that?
That Flame ain't
That's
confused
their
about who she is.
perception.
Since
yeah,
she stepped
she
on the
branded
stage, she
that.
has
She made
always
that into
told
her
you
brand.
exactly. She's
She
always
made that. I
that's the
mean, she used that.
Yeah, they don't like her on that show, and I think when they start like attacking because they just don't like her for whatever they
they
look at the
wouldn't like
Breakfast
most
Club
of the
for,
people in this
that's the
room
first
on that
thing they
show.
go to because it's the easiest thing to call somebody on if you already don't like them.
I think they liked what she said before, previously. Like I think they liked her stance, but I think it was like, okay, well, we seen you, and I think they. It feels to me like they felt like, child, okay, we seen you, girl, bye. That's how it feels.
Right.
Like, why the hell are you back here? That's how
Exactly.
it feels. Like we were cool with what you had to say because that was different. Because you wasn't going to get that out of Maddie.
Small
You're
doses.
not going to get that out of RuPaul. You're not going to get that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And I think that it just they flipped on her. I think
she
she's
came off
comfortable with how they received her. Yeah, we
Yeah,
received
like you on there for like 7 days straight, girl. Like that's totally different than seeing you for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
everybody got that one friend. Like you fun at the party for an hour, but after 2 hours, girl.
and
She
that's
came
not
off
fair.
weak. She came
Yeah,
off weak.
Yeah,
So
right.
that was what was wrong with this situation. I ain't never seen Flame look that weak in my
they
life.
beat
And I
up
know
on her.
Yeah.
They
she's
beat up
not a
on her,
weak
and it's
person.
going on for days. It's
Well,
like it's
she
going
would
on
have
for days.
she would have had a big
Can I
audience
say?
from the trans community if she wasn't spewing all that rhetoric. We would have supported her. We would have watched. We would have came over there. But no, she's a detriment to our community. I didn't watch.
Can I say,
Go ahead, aesthetic scuba.
James? I think that what people are upset with is how people treated Flame. I don't think Flame cares because Flame is sitting
No.
there because the Breakfast Club
She
is paying
doesn't.
her, and
Facts. These are facts.
Flame has high self-esteem. If there's any bitch that could sit there and take it, it would be Flame. Because
I
Flame has gotten it out the mud. Ain't nobody gave Flame nothing. So who is ultimately the blame is the Breakfast Club because they should not allow people to treat their guests like that. We have
That's
all
where I
seen
stand.
But it's
shows.
that's their
Oh,
audience. You a guest in their home.
wait. We've all listened to shows where the host has cut a caller off. We're not
That's
tolerating that.
right.
You're not calling people with that, and they cut it off.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
That's
not the
all.
Breakfast
That's
Club
all I wanted
audience.
to
That's not
say.
what they do.
But
But they do it. But they
but that's
do
what
it.
they came. All people do it, and so I don't blame the audience because we already know the black community is transphobic and homophobic as fuck. So that ain't nothing new.
Very much.
But so what needs to happen is when somebody comes in your house and they're a guest and you got somebody in there popping smack, it's your job to correct it.
And I've done it.
That's
I've done it here. Everybody knows that I am totally protective of that rainbow and everything that falls on that rainbow. I don't care if it's trans, if it's lesbian, if it's queer. I'm an old bitch from the rainbow, so I am protective. They all my kids. You know what I mean? When you come up behind me, I'm 51. You 20 something, 30 something, 40 something. They are my kids, and that's the way I look at it. Until you give me a reason not to protect you, I feel a need. That's my
Yeah, but
point.
Mr. James, let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes Flame make it hard to.
Right.
And
But
sometimes she
I
does
think
make
it
it like
was
hard. Like I'ma fight for you because
yeah,
you're a member of the community.
but I'll still
But
come back and do
Can
it
I
because
say something?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So
This ain't even my turn.
I like Flame. I watch her on her YouTube that she
Oh,
does because she talks a lot of political stuff. So I know that she was super
Yes.
excited about being on the Breakfast Club and to hear that it is crumbling the way that it is. I really do have some empathy for her. Now, I do
You
think
raise a
that
good
when
point.
Flame was on the Breakfast Club before, right? We all know that we were watching her because we wanted to hear what she had to say about the LGBTQ community and issues.
Yeah.
This is completely different, right? You have to be on the Breakfast Club and speak about all different types of issues. Nobody wants to hear what Flame has to say if it's not directed towards the
Yeah,
LGBT
okay,
community. That's
not
my
to cut you
thing.
off, but you just highlighted something.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed they don't ask. Flame has a whole political podcast
That's right.
where she speaks intelligently about political topics. They have shied away from actually
You right.
asking. Now that you just said that, I realize they have not put her in a position to actually speak about what I know she's knowledgeable about because again, I listen to her
Absolutely.
podcast.
As a trans woman,
basically
that's why I
told
say
on
it's
themselves.
important for her to go in
Is
there and
that
talk about
purposeful?
stuff that
Yeah, that's what it
matters.
says. Like they told on themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is
And
that on purpose?
I don't know, but I think I would be surprised if she's not shocked by the backlash that she's getting because she is crumbling. She is like crashing
She
and
didn't.
burning.
And it's getting worse daily.
She
Like, I
didn't get
mean,
them what they
Yep.
wanted.
the level of it's like they got
You're
away
right. You're
with
right.
it, and then it just the level of the disrespect is growing like daily.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But when I made the first video, it was literally the people were just ignoring her when they called in, and that bothered me. When they
Wow.
were just ignoring her. Now we've gone from them just ignoring her to literally 2 days later, and they're literally firing, like they're just saying any old thing.
Mm.
And I
To me,
think
she has to be
if
getting
they
something
stopped
out
it
of
the
that.
first day, they wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it has to be
That's
about
it.
the money.
But they only try to pull the attention like, hey, we do have Flame here. When it is some fluff material, when it
She
is
cashed her
some
check.
fashion column shit, they gave Flame a whole segment to talk about the Met Gala. Now that you pointed that out to me, I can't even see your name, sweet baby.
That's
Not to
Imani.
sound like Monique, but I can't even see your name.
That's Imani.
But they let her speak when it's fluff material. But Flame is political. Flame
That's
is very like
Yep.
smart
Yeah,
in
the
that way,
women
and they
claim
don't
to do
bat her that
fashion
ball.
shows. When she don't do fashion like that. I mean, she can talk fashion naturally, but that's not even what she's known for.
Yep.
Right. Yes,
So
sir.
I wonder if it's
She
like
has
a
been
setup.
moving in spaces that
I
she
want,
felt like
yeah,
she's
like,
not
is it
welcome
on
in.
purpose that y'all are doing this? Like,
I
No,
don't
she want
believe
the
that
check.
DJ. I don't believe that
Flame
DJ
is there for
Envy
that check.
or Charlamagne the
Yes.
God has Flame's
no,
best
no. If you
interest.
listen to her podcast, she has said for a long time, I think I could be a good political, because her podcast is honestly, it has shifted from
Well,
hot topics to politics.
Yep.
that
And
would
I
And
be
she was
love
like, I
her
her
could be a
for
doing
it.
good
it for her
political.
own purpose. That would be
She
her
want the
doing
Don
it
Lemon
for her
seat.
purpose.
Yeah.
And she has the chops and the
I'm
to do that.
I'm scared for her to get any position. She's already got rhetoric going on now. Just imagine how it's going to escalate. The ego, the big ego
And
that
that's why it
comes
make it
along
hard
with
to
it.
fight for her. Like
I
it
think
make
Yeah.
it
I
hard to
Yeah.
think
fight
that
for
you
her.
have
Hey,
to look
that
at I think
part.
that you have to look at Flame as not what you want her to be, but what she told you she is.
Yeah.
Because when
That's
you look
right.
at her in a way that makes it feel like she's supposed to advocate for certain things, that's when you're
Mm-mm.
gonna hear the things that you feel is
And
dismissive
then
about
knowing I
what
know
you
you know
doing.
better. I've listened
But
to you speak.
that's
I
not
know you know better.
she always said that's not her fight. What her fight is just herself as a being. She don't consider herself a lot of things that people consider themselves. She's there for that bread.
Thank you.
Honestly, I feel anybody that's in the LGBT community, if y'all don't support Flame, I don't like have any feelings towards that at all. I mean, I can only imagine having her who has this big platform, and it seems like she takes L after L after L. She don't stick up for nobody. She don't even try. You know, I do see that she does make it hard to root for her. She really, really, really does.
I think we
So,
forgetting something though.
Thank
I
you
think
for
we
seeing
forgetting
that.
something
of
though.
course,
There's a
yeah.
lot of people that are winning behind closed doors that look like they taking L's in front of everybody else.
Good point
Because
too. Yeah.
at the end of the
Well,
day,
see,
she was on the Breakfast Club.
at the end of the
Well,
day,
Regardless how
like I
they
I'm
say, I
gonna
mean,
treated
say,
her,
it's a good resume builder.
yeah,
It's a good
regardless of how
resume
they
builder,
treated
but
her,
again, at
but what
and again,
extent?
I ain't fighting about her being, her doing it for her own purpose. I'll be good with that.
but
I'll
that's
be
what
good
made
with
us
that.
upset to see it.
But at what cost? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
That's the
As a
Right.
question.
trans woman speaking, it affects me with her rhetoric.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
keep calling her a
Me and my
trans woman.
sisters in our community.
Well,
And
she
to
does
me, I would rather
identify
her
as
not say
trans.
anything.
She
If I
identifies as
would rather
trans.
her not say
Thank
anything
you,
than to go
Imani.
against it. It's like, damn, girl, just be quiet. Just sit this one out. Talk about what you know and keep it at that. Yeah.
I see it like a family member that, who, regardless of whether I agree or not with who they are and where they stand, I still I still look to her and I still respect a lot of things she says because aside from the political stuff, because when we talk about gender and stuff, that is still political.
Yeah.
So aside from the
Yeah.
political stuff,
Correct.
when you're looking at
Correct.
her overall as a person, we can all say we all have enjoyed her as a person.
But sometimes she falls into that category
Don't
of
everybody? To
that's
somebody, there's
to
somebody that don't
somebody.
agree with a lot of things you say. You know what I mean?
But
It's
it
always
but
gonna be
it,
that somebody.
it's not a I don't agree. It's more like sometimes I really ask myself when I listen to Flame on other platforms, do you really believe what you're saying or is this shock value?
I feel like it'd be shock value, and then it's to pander
It's like,
to
She's
the
been
black
saying that for
community that
her whole
already have
career.
something against to it, like some women that feel like trans women are coming in to take their spaces
She's been
or
saying this
things
Thank
for
like
you,
okay,
that.
when the
Manny.
hold
trans
on now.
Thank
community
you
was
for
We're
coming
still
in,
we're
Manny.
coming in
big.
hot and heavy.
She's
I,
been
I,
saying
I,
this for a long time, y'all.
she has,
I
she
I'm
believe
has.
her. I
impressed.
mean, I'm not. I believe her. I believe
She
her.
really
I
believes
believe
what
her
she
views
say.
are her views. I believe her because remember now, because they keep trying to put my sister Maddie up against.
She
Some of
ain't having
Maddie's
it.
views are the same thing. Some of Maddie's views
But
are
again, I was
total
Except for you not got to
trans,
call
trans, trans.
Maddie. No big
Maddie
deal.
always got in trouble because her views were a little different as well.
Right.
okay. Yeah, but that's just something. That's honestly just something
But Maddie,
There's a,
society, and the crowd does to women.
I've heard trans
They're
women
gonna put,
Maddie's
they're gonna
not
pit
out
them.
here
They're gonna
spewing
pit them
rhetoric.
against each other. They're
I
gonna
heard
pit them
trans
against each
women
other.
get at Maddie about the fact that she is comfortable with her penis. I've heard
They
people
do it
get at
all
Maddie.
the time.
You know what
Maddie
I'm saying?
catches it.
But
Maddie
she
catches it.
stand on it. She stand on it, so you respect it.
And I mean I don't, and that's why you see while we're here, I don't
It's the
have to
same.
agree with everything
It's
you
in the
say. I'm gonna
same.
still
It's,
fight. I'm gonna still fight when I feel like you being done wrong. That's why I ended up here because I feel
Right.
like he was done wrong.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
feel
like
like.
she's
You
been
check.
wrong. No, I don't agree with what you are calling rhetoric about the stuff she says. Queen Toast, some of the stuff she says is rhetoric, but it's her feelings. I'm not
right.
taking that away at all. But the treatment
Mm-hmm.
that she's
Okay.
receiving is out of order. I've literally sat and, like I said, I love everything on the rainbow. But
Okay.
I've seen people on the rainbow get wrong with my regular, my heterosexual girls, and I'm like, you out of order. I'm
Right.
going to
You.
call a
They're very
spade.
out of order. They're very out of order.
Y'all see me do it.
But
I don't want to just sit here and watch any of you just be wrong with the other. So when it's wrong, I'm going to say it because look, my mama is a black woman, what folks call a cisgender black woman. So I don't want to see anybody doing them out of order, and I don't want to see them doing the trans girls out of order because I got tons of trans sisters.
And
So it's hard to walk the line, but I just don't like wrong treatment. And this
they be so wrong to Miss
Split
Flame.
point. When you talk
but
about the rhetoric that she puts out, she sets this narrative, she sets this tone. So that's what people have from her. So this is how they come at her. With the stuff that she provided them, they're going to use it against her.
They're gonna use
and
that
that's
low
what
hanging
they're
right.
fruit.
doing. Now that is truly what
But
they're doing, and I was shocked that they're doing it. And
but
now I get it, like as far as aesthetics guru was saying, maybe she doing it for the check. She doing it for the check.
I don't think it's that. I
but
think Flame is cognizant because she's always talking about know your audience and know your crowd. I don't know if y'all from Atlanta,
Yeah, I don't think she
but
took
She was
her
but
own
welcoming
no,
and
advice
I
because
accepting
I
can
don't
her.
think she.
look
I
okay,
think she
but
just thrown off.
there's like Club Crucial, Club Liqueur, whatever. It's a hood spot. They shoot dice, they sell, they do all that stuff. I can't walk in the Club Crucial in my painted on jeans and my crop top shirt because like I would do a bulldog. Bulldog is gay
Are
club.
you
Bull,
trans?
right. Right.
I'm
But
just
Are
gay.
you trans?
But me?
Yeah.
No, I'm just
right.
gay. But
Oh,
what
I
I'm
thought we
saying,
were
I
talking
th-
about the trans. Flame
no,
is trans.
right.
we are talking about trans. But I'm trying to
His
illuminate a
own
point.
experience.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Right.
that's not the audience to do that. Breakfast Club is not the audience to some of the jokes weren't landing. Some of it because it's just not your. It's not like a universal audience. It's a very limited
But
crowd of ignorant
No,
MFers that
everybody
listen to.
comes through the
but
Breakfast Club. Everybody
but
that
Flame.
anybody goes through the Breakfast Club. She should have been allowed to be there regardless of anybody thinking anything about her. And what she should have did when they gave her all of that bullshit, and she should have did what she was supposed to do and cussed them
Start
the hell out.
dragging. Start
Okay,
dragging.
She was
Now
supposed to
see
get
No,
that
but
y'all
start
real
no, no,
dragging.
no.
talk. Exactly.
but
That
for a
real talk
whole,
is
Flame.
supposed
but
to
for
be
a
Listen,
whole
heard.
Flame.
week
And
straight,
that pissed
She
me
she was
off.
she wasn't
for a whole
she
week
wasn't trying to
straight.
mess up her bag. She's
Yes,
not
she
going to
didn't
do
want
that.
to do that
Yeah,
because she didn't want to come
She got a
across.
check
But
already.
that's where they were.
She
I mean,
wanted to be
now
welcome
I would
back.
have been dragging. I might have dragged cute, but I'd have dragged.
She
I would
wanted
have
to be
dragged. Y'all know
welcome
how to
back.
drag.
But you know what though? I just want to mention this. James, have you ever heard of the black gay comedian Samson McCormick?
Oh, yeah.
Samson McCormick gets the same smoke from the LGBTQ community, mainly the black gays, that Flame gets from the LGBTQ community. And I think the difference is because they came up in a different era. See, now it's okay to be an advocate. Now it's okay to be like, I'm that bitch, and still make a living. But you couldn't do that 20 years ago. These new girls, I mean, but the thing, right, because you saw it, but she was a comedian. She wasn't trying to be a secretary. She wasn't trying to be on the news.
Right.
She was in a comedy club. So they came up in a different time and in a different era. And guess what? And also, and let's just call it what it is, that bitch is old. And when you get a certain age, you ain't got time to be doing all about your fighting. It's all about your damn coin. Call me whatever you want, but guess what? That check that they're going to give her on Friday is going to be very fucking cute. You better believe that.
That's a good point.
Because I want to know, so why didn't she and I guess that's what makes it feel a little more hurtful, because as we all can sit here and say, we know about Miss Lane. She was red. She got a tongue on her that's sharper than a motherfucking be like, ooh, I'm sorry, can I cuss on him today?
With that reason, we ain't on the lane, but just keep in mind, we not on the lane. We got the room, but we're not on the lane.
Got you. She got a tongue sharper than a freaking blade. And she didn't. And she sat there and it just felt like watching somebody kick puppies.
I wanted to throw her shanks.
And that hurt too. And it made me look at you a different type of way. Like, something, all that pump flesh, all that like cash money, SHI that you be talking, do you really feel that way or not? Because you let these men talk to you this way. You let these audience members talk to you this way. And it just make me feel, as a little gay boy, it just make me feel something like, girl, I thought you was strong. I thought you was stronger than to let somebody misgender you.
NYC Quiet Boy said, find yourself another shero because Flame isn't it. And now that I completely agree with. And I never looked at her as that. I respect her because I look at her as a legend. When I look at Flame, I fight for Flame because I look at Flame the same way I look at Miss Sophia. When I was coming up in the pageants and stuff, I looked up to them before I never thought I would ever meet Flame or Miss Sophia. Never thought I would ever actually end up running into them. But I've actually met Miss Sophia now. But I view her in the same, like I don't have all this issue with her. It's like she says stuff, I'd be like, child, oh, I don't agree with that. But I ain't getting ready to beat her up about it. And that's what I say. I'm just here. I just don't like how she was treated. I just don't. I don't like it. Because if you do it to her, you would do it to me.
Right.
If you did it to her, you do it to me, but I'll cut your ass out.
That's right.
And I love her. I just don't like the way that she, I just don't like the rhetoric. She can move past that and get counseling and get therapy and learn how to work through it. I mean, I think.
But do you think that would be it, Queen Tulsa? I don't think she would work through because that's her.
Oh yeah,
like they said, she's an old bitch. She's an old bitch. You can't teach her no new. She got grown kids.
You're right.
And I think she's actually true. And I don't even want her to change. I don't want her to change because then that wouldn't be her no more. She is who she is. But some of this stuff looks crazy. Some of this stuff looks like she let some stuff go to get here right now. And then you got here, and here ain't what we thought here was going to be. Here is where it's kind of like they're treating it like it's mad day, but ain't nobody really mad at it.
Yeah, but it's always been glimmers of like, you would do this for a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Disappointed but not surprised, if that makes sense.
Have y'all heard when she said on one of these interviews that she was what you want to call it, prompted for other things to get a certain type of role or to get in a certain type of place, and she said she won't gonna do that. She turned away from that. She don't need to do that. But that's what this is.
That's what this is. Yes, indeed, that's what this is. Because Tiffany Haddish, that's why there was such a big thing. She loved Tiffany. Tiffany took her and didn't make her change nothing. She took her.
But that's a whole conversation for another. Because Tiffany do a lot of stuff in the job for damn good.
Yeah, but Tiffany did what she said she was going to do. When she was able to shine a light on Flame, she did exactly what she said she was going to do. And she didn't try to water her down. She didn't try to change her. She shined the light on her that she had available to shine on her. Thank you, Aesthetic Guru. You know I love you, child. Thank you for coming up. Always a pleasure. It's one of my favorites, honey. But yeah, I mean, this dude felt her just sitting there. It just don't sit right with me. It's like, girl, come on.
I've never seen that with her. I've never seen
ever. Ever.
It was like a shift or something is happening. You know, it's almost like, wait a minute. Did
you know, tag a bitch in. Tag a bitch in.
Yeah, like,
that's how I'm feeling, y'all. That's how I've been feeling for the last couple of days. Like,
but you said that in your first video you posted, Mr. J. Go where you're respected. Go where you're. And I just feel like you keep getting there through that.
Maybe she didn't come back. Maybe after they did it and she wasn't back. But I mean, her contract, I guess, is for a certain amount of days.
Yeah, I get it, but this ain't a bad night at a club. This ain't one bad night at a gig. This ain't just one bad night at a club. Like this, you thought this is for 7 and you just not respected. But this is not your first time being there. There's been talks and stuff in the comments on your first little 45-minute interviews with them. The couple ones you did. You signed up for 7 days.
Like a setup because it wasn't that in the beginning.
Because small doses, baby, small doses.
Well, listen. Now earlier in the chat, they were putting in like she's a token. She's a token, and I said, that's like a little bit of a.
I see that.
She's letting it happen.
You can't fuss. Nobody can fuss at the Breakfast Club if they decide to pull somebody that was a guest, like they did with Sherry Shepherd. Nobody can fuss. The LGBTQIA can't say a word about, oh, you didn't give a chance, because yes, they did. We have Flame on. So when I saw that in the chat, that struck me, and that made sense. I see Taj. Taj says you don't get paid to guest co-host. Generally no, but again, you know, there's deals made sometimes. There's deals made, and sometimes you do get paid for things that you generally don't get paid for. Ask me how I know.
I think they do pay most co-hosts that they ask to come on, because there's people that can call up there and walk up there and come on. That's famous enough to do it. But in her sense, I think that was, you know, an advertisement for her. That's
but it's like even if you don't get paid, if that's a hell of a
it's gonna come back.
Resume builder. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely it's in your favor to actually show up.
But was it her turn to sit in that seat the same way Lil Mama did, and the same way a few other people did that didn't get what everybody else got when they came up there? Because there's certain people that they do not respect.
Right, because exposure brings more money.
Well, I mean, they did. Angela Yee isn't there, and so when she was there, I think that they were getting pretty good views, and so why not call in a crash dummy?
I mean, you can. I'm sorry, man.
It's confusing when you say you love her and then call her a crash dummy. I'm just not saying that your opinion is not relevant.
That was crash dummy activity,
sis. I came up here because I have a friend that I grew up with, and I'm not a part of LGBTQ at all. But there's people that I love to where you're not going to treat people that feel this way that way, because someone that I love, and probably is the same with most Black women that have gay or trans or any other type of person in their life. That's how I became sympathetic, empathetic, and respectful to that. But I'm not going. I can't disrespect her in any type of way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say she's stupid for what she's doing. I might not agree with it. I feel like she was weak for what she did, but I'm not going to say I don't understand the bag. But then when you say she a crash dummy, it's kind of negating the intelligence that I get from her, because she's a very intelligent person.
Very much so.
Everybody has their opinions that they grew with that they don't want to let go of. And how she feels about trans women, I don't agree with it myself because at the end of the day, she's doing the same thing that other people are doing when she does that.
And
But
that's
Well,
why it
man, when
feels
it
like
comes from your own
tokenism.
community and people know her as that, but then it's a problem in my community. And thank you so much for your concern, but this is just not a fight that is for you. I'm a trans woman, so I'm speaking up to
no, I'm
another
not
trans
fighting.
woman, and I
I was
am
trying to
Yes,
checking.
ma'am.
understand how you said you
I
Yes,
love
am
her,
ma'am.
and then you
checking
turned
another
around and
trans
said
woman,
that she's
and I hope that she hears
or
this
whatever you
and she
said she
needs to
was.
get it in
Yes,
check.
ma'am.
This
I
this
will,
right here, this right
and
here.
I will lead this on this, Mr. Diane.
Mhm,
I when Andy Cohen did that interview on
mhm.
the Breakfast Club, there was so much backlash. That's not his audience, but it got clicks and it got views, but they were mostly negative because what the hell is Andy Cohen doing on the Breakfast Club?
Extending his reach.
That's what
It
Extending his reach.
extended.
Extending
But
his reach.
again,
everybody
Because
has been
those
on the
people
this
watch
Breakfast
his
Club.
channel.
this was not Miss Flame's audience. Like I said, I have seen Miss Flame live stand up. Room with like stitch busting laughing. Funny lady. I listen to her podcast every week. I got a notification right now. I need to go listen to her new episode of her podcast by herself. Perfectly fine. This was not your lane. It wasn't your audience. And the backlash again, you know how folks are when they don't like you. The first thing they gonna go, oh, you dark. Oh, you fat. Whatever they can pull at. Oh, you're trans. Oh, you the F word. That's just it comes with the territory when folks don't like you. Just they don't like you. They just grab at what they can. And I think that's honestly all it was. I don't think it's that deeply
There's different
ingrained.
type of trans people too.
Right. I
And
mean,
yes,
there's
It's a
so many. We come
subcategory.
so many different ways. We do.
Yeah.
Us as a whole, just not. I'm not trans, but our trans. I got tons of trans girlfriends, and they all different. They're
Same.
all different.
Yes. My friends are different.
they're people. They're people.
Right. Now let me address this right here. Julep said the problem, James, is you defend Flame, but Flame wouldn't defend you if you were in the streets. And you know what? You ain't lying. You ain't lying. You're not lying. But at the end of the day, I gotta be James. I gotta be James. It got up underneath me in my crawl. So I had to push the button. Truly. And I can't tell you, and that's not just her being trans or another gay individual. That's just in general. How many times have I sat right down here on YouTube and literally fired up my platform about somebody beefing on YouTube, and in the very next round, the person I fired up my platform for to be able to have a voice is the next person that doxes me, is the next person that talks about my life and my background until allowing me completely flip on me. How many times have I done that? So I just can't. You know what? When it gets up underneath me and it makes me feel some kind of way, I just go. I just go with it because then I feel like I did what I had to do. It's hard, The older I get, the harder time I have bite my tongue and taste the blood in my mouth. I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta save my shit. Prolific Queen.
Hey James, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming up. I'm glad you clicked the link because you was typing, baby. Typing.
I know. I'm from LA. I'm not from New York. So yeah, I was like, Nye is just like just a nickname. But I love Flame. I think that Flame wears several hats. Flame is not only an entertainer. Flame is also a parent. So I think as far as representing the community, I don't know what box Flame necessarily fits in. Flame dresses like a man, but then dresses like a woman. Flame sleeps with women, likes women. So, it's just there's no box that Flame necessarily fits in, to me, in my opinion, to represent. And I think that his tenure on the Breakfast Club is necessarily for him to get to a larger platform. Flame has stated that Flame wants to host red carpets. Flame wants to host, these Oscars and host, CNN and things like that. So I think Flame probably was very reserved because you have to look at the bigger picture. Flame
She wants to play the game. She wants to play the game. Full out.
as far as because this is a career move. Flame was on there. This is about Flame's career. This isn't about representing any particular audience. Flame is here because Flame wants to take she, we's career to another level. So if you want to be on CNN, you want to be on MSNBC, you can't be on there, cussing out guests or doing those things. You can't do that.
Well,
And I don't recall any other guests. Please let me know any other guests that have went off on callers, because I've never heard it. I might be wrong.
Kyle go off on the guest, baby.
On the
I'm just saying, yeah, I have never heard. I never heard nobody kind of go. Maybe like people are comedians. No.
Charlamagne get dug in his ass all the time. Sorry, James. He get dug in his tail all the time.
They drag Charlamagne.
But I'm saying, does the guest necessarily just go off and go at the guest and argue with them? Like, I don't know. I don't listen to them like that.
They do. That's why I'm confused. It was confusing to me.
Hold on. Charles.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Charles.
I'm listening to everybody, and as a person that's in the arts like you, James.
Who are you, Taj? Introduce yourself, Taj.
Hi, my name is Taj Johnson. I'm a trans woman. I am one of James's granddaughters.
Hey, Taj.
Hey,
one of my babies.
Hello, my trans sister. How are you?
I'm well. As a person like that's in the arts and stuff like my grandma, and I live in New York City, so I've done like a lot of production work and different things. To me, it kind of felt like there was a pre-production meeting and then production, and them hiring Flame for the week. They knew that all this controversy was going to happen. They're looking for a new host and stuff like that. Makes me feel as a viewer, as a fan, do y'all think sometimes we make it hard because it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't? Like, okay, I'll get this. Like, for instance, y'all, sometimes things happen and we're like, we want Maddie to say something. The minute Maddie goes to say something and it's not what everybody wants, then it's like,
exactly.
Oh, forget you.
Right.
Oh, girl, forget you. And then if she don't say nothing, well, Maddie, why aren't you saying anything? You're just not saying anything. So I think Flame is kind of in the same position. Damned if Flame says something, damned if Flame don't say anything. To be on radio, you do have to learn grace and humility. So I think she was aware that she was going to get this type of backlash. I think it's how you carry yourself. If she wants to be considered in the political world, what she did was the best move. Because like y'all just said, you can't get on CNN and get the mother effing. You have to have a certain type of reservedness to you. So I like the one person said, if she wants to be considered in a political realm, CNN, Dawn Lemon don't be cussing folks out. Dawn Lemon politely said,
she thought about that when she started her career, the way she started her career, and that's kind of what I'm having a problem with, because I don't. If you gonna be you, then be you. You're not gonna never be nothing if you ain't true to you.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to swallow.
But then again, people have to be.
Say it again, babe. Your sound was messed up. Oh shoot.
We'll give it a minute.
Prolific Queen.
50. Oh my God, that's so fucking hard. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I'm in a bad.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me, James?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Keep talking.
Okay. Okay. So my thing was, we can't. Look how somebody was when they started and where they are, where they're trying to go. Like I said, I'm from LA. So Snoop, I'll use him as an example. He's not the person he was at 19. He's not talking about the same things that he's talked about. He's revamped his brand completely. from when he first started. So I think everybody has to have a chance, especially when it comes to your career, to have the opportunity to evolve and change if you need to. And again, time should come with wisdom. You know what I mean? If he was talking about the same thing he was talking about in 19 and 20 at almost 50, or if he might be in his 50s, we would be looking at him like, grow up. You a father.
You do got a point.
You have to.
That same stuff. On Rick's platform, he was saying all the old jokes.
He is not where he was definitely at 19, 20 years old. You know what I mean?
But do y'all think he's going to cause
person?
Do y'all think it's going to cause controversy if he's on the news and the pronouns are up there on the screen and we got our community looking at the news? Do y'all think that's going to be controversy?
Let's be honest.
But what about
going to say nothing about the trans community on the news, so they ain't going to allow her to.
Yeah. What about and again, I'm not in that community, but what about people who want to be non-binary, or those who want to be they, them, and all of those other things? Like, they have the right to want to be called those, pronouns. They might want to be he, they, them. You know what I mean? I don't see what the issue is with people wanting to be called what they want to be called. I
think that her pronouns. I think her pronouns aren't the issue. I think the issue, what happens with Flame, is that she chose her pronouns, but then she basically says that the rest of it is ridiculous and it's foolishness. That's where the problem comes in. Do you? But then she kind of will throw shade at the rest. That's where the problem kind of comes in.
I think it's a blurred line because Blame, just like most people, have personal opinions.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have personal opinions about how you see things around you. You know what I mean? You don't have to take what I say as face value. And like, me as a black woman, every black woman don't represent me. I don't want everybody to represent me. Absolutely. You know what I mean? There are certain people that I might want a Michelle Obama and not a Sukihana. You know what I mean? Like, that's my choice to say, I don't want that person to represent me. You know what I mean? Their views are not my views. I'm not going to knock that person because that's their hustle, how they got to where they are. But you don't represent me. You represent you.
And that's nobody represents me. Nobody.
I mean, that's as far as like having things.
But that's just my opinion. I agree with what you're saying, though.
Yeah, as far as like having their opinions about their beliefs or what they might say or what they might feel fits that category or that box. You know what I mean? Again, we're all.
Because is there really any community? I think that be like a smoke screen to people that I don't believe that there's any communities out there. I don't believe there's any black communities. I believe there's a lot of people that get together with like-minded people and then they're going to say their stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she is going to always have those same views because she has her whole career. And she's trying to move and sit at a table with people that don't want to hear nothing but the negative in what she has to say. But they don't mention that she also says that I don't have no disrespect towards trans women, but this is just how I see it. And she bases it off of her children. She's telling you her viewpoint based off of what she feels for her children. So if you don't got kids, you might not even understand that. But it ain't for us to understand. That's just her opinion.
You're right.
To sit at these seats, they don't care about the opinion she want to talk about. They care about the opinion the audience want to talk about. And she didn't give them that, and they got pissed off. And I don't know. Her trying to sit at that table and not be herself 100%.
So my question is, what is the expectation for Flame sitting at that table? Like, what
be herself?
Should she? Because like I said, I've seen her on many interviews. Now on her own platform, she acts a fool on her own platform. I've seen how she acts on her own.
They've been looking for a new guest co-host. They've been I'm testing people out. She was on there a few times. They look at reviews and ratings. They always look at reviews and ratings first. Mm-hmm. So I think probably because the couple times she was on there, it made their reviews and their ratings. So when they were looking at people, let's see who we want to guest co-host, she was probably one of the first people that they wanted to come through for the week. Now, I do grant it, one segment, like one day, is totally different from you trying to be up on there 7 days a week, like 7
Exactly.
days. That's
Exactly.
totally
Now, I
different.
didn't see Now, I have to say, I didn't see any difference in her point of view or her behavior while she was there. The only thing I saw different is that when they started to abuse her, she didn't she didn't fire back, and she just shrugged it off. That's the only difference from regular old Flame that I saw. I didn't, she didn't change her point of view. She still cracked her jokes. She was still raunchy what she wanted to be. She was still Flame until it got to the point when they disrespected her. She ate it. That was the biggest difference. It's the only difference that I saw.
And those are some whoever was doing all that. Again, you don't have to agree with her viewpoints, but some people are just in a miserable space.
Oh,
Some people,
absolutely.
it just makes them so elated to sit up here and call on the phone and disrespect somebody. That made your day. Good for
Trying to
you.
have a moment. Trying to have a moment.
You had a moment through a phone with no face that we don't know who you are. And when
Right.
you hang up, you still don't know who you are. You
It
know what I
goes
mean?
on here all the time. It
It's
goes
where
on
she's
YouTube
at
all
because
the time.
yeah, because the Breakfast Club is the way it is because of where they are. There's more people per square inch up there where they are than anywhere, and that's why they have that really, really big audience. It's a radio station in a highly populated area. That place, it could have been any radio station, and I don't think she would have gave them that same energy, and that was weird to me because I've seen her on other interviews with other people, and mostly they don't even come at her like that. So I
Right.
don't.
Yeah, because let people know you're going to drag. And I think once they seen
Exactly.
that she wasn't, they just kept fighting, and it just got worse.
Like the green light was on.
Yeah, it just got worse. And that's where, and I could be wrong. I just felt like throw a different line. I mean, if they see she's not fighting back, throw a line. Why are y'all letting these people do it?
And
I
yeah, more people.
Walk
It's more
off.
of a Breakfast
I'm too
Club.
fucking fly. Excuse me, dang it. I'm sorry, James. I'm too fly for this. Walk off. Where's the bad entrance?
Jay,
The
it's like
What
Jay,
about the
tell
house?
your
What
daughter
about the
it's
get? I
not
mean, what about the people's house? Like if somebody comes to my house and somebody that's there as a guest for me is disrespecting you, you ain't got to say nothing because I'm saying something. So
but I
to
think
me,
your
it was like,
daughter made a point, James, by stating that the production aspect of it all.
right,
I
that
think
they
they really knew it was gonna be like this. They know their audience. You know what I mean? I think it was
so
some
her space was to go
preparation.
ahead and
Yeah,
swallow them bets, and then the big payoff comes later.
exactly. Because they
I don't
try to
think that's
make
the problem for
deals.
me.
They trying to make deals with all these networks and Charlemagne getting flame
Now,
all these connects and hookups and all this other
y'all
stuff.
see they about to go in with BET. So they're about
okay,
to go
now
with
wait a minute now, because
BET.
my baby do got a point. Because now listen, the truth of the matter is, for the last couple of days, the goddamn show been boring, and the only thing that really stick out is the mistreatment of, Flame. Because the real topics that they've been talking about, yeah, okay,
No.
so
I just
maybe.
think we just
But then sometimes I do agree with you, Graham. Sometimes when you're dealing with heterosexual people, if a gay or trans person ain't talking about gay stuff, they're not interested.
but she
Well,
was
I do
that's
on
because a
she
lot
was
of
on
times they
Brother
don't take
Riz's
this
channel.
serious.
She was
Yeah,
on
so I
Brother
think
Riz's
it's like one of them
channel.
things too. Like, ain't nobody talking about no gay stuff. Why is she here?
No, but Flame, but I can say in the other interviews, which wasn't a open it up to the public situation, Flame, they talked about several different topics. You know
Right,
what I mean?
Yeah, on the
That was
Nation of
the
Islam.
exception. There were several different topics that they talked about.
right,
I
and
just
that's
think
not all heterosexuals, but that demographic that actually listens to the Breakfast Club. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
If she ain't bashing her own community, she ain't all that interesting.
Or they want you to act like a clown. I made the statement
Yeah,
about Ray J. I said Ray J wasn't up there being serious. Ray J was being a complete fool. And it was funny. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but they
yeah, because
want
that's
that.
Ray. Ray is a reality star. He clowns. That's what he does.
Yeah, they want the entertainment. They want you to act the fool. They want you to say that's what they are into. That's their
Yeah,
audience. But I think for Flame, it was about for me personally, exposure to show that I have composure, that you can put me in any hot seat
I agree.
and I can sit there and I can handle it. You know what I mean? So that shows that may or may not open more doors for more opportunities. Because again, it's about her career. At the end of the day, that's what that was about,
But
in
if
my
you got
opinion.
away from that and you came to where you was in a space. Now let's not mind you, Tiffany Haddish has been knocked off our platform a little bit, so that might have a
Yeah,
lot to do with why she's where she's at. But
yeah,
how every check ain't a good check,
That's
especially
like
in
it.
her situation. We ain't talking about no heterosexual black woman or we talking about a trans woman that is also in cahoots of saying things, the rhetoric that people would say against her own community. So that's like a big spotlight in itself. And then it's like, okay, well, are you letting them use your views against you? And
yeah.
without you even acknowledging it, because she has to understand that these people that you're taking this check from are using you against yourself.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you,
what?
sister.
Oh, what specific example of that for those interviews in particularly that you didn't agree with them calling Flame he or calling,
No,
was that the
no,
part
no,
of it?
no, no.
It
It
was the
was
lack of respect for her as a
right.
guest on the show,
Yeah, it was.
just to the
It started
basics.
with the beginning when they allowed the callers to call in and literally not acknowledge her.
But
That would be
I
just
ain't never
like me sitting here before my grandbaby came up. If I would sit here and let you all have a conversation and never let Queen Tulsa talk, I would
right.
be doing the exact same thing, and I would never do that.
And see,
I
my
would
thing is,
never do that.
I don't.
Notice it.
My thing is,
Everybody would notice.
I don't watch their show that often for me to compare how other guests are treated. So for
I've
me,
never seen a
I don't
guest
watch
treated
them.
like that.
I don't listen to them like that.
It's a ratchet show.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
Yeah.
ratchet,
ratchet
but I
show.
ain't never seen another show when he literally said, they were like, "Hey, Envy, hey, Charlemagne," and then it was quiet, and then he said, "We also have Flame here," and the one lady, she's like,
But
"Yeah,
Angela Yee tried to tell everybody that it was not all, what it was hyped up to be over there.
But they
yeah," that was
audience
after she
liked
stopped
that.
getting her check. She did.
I
She
didn't
did.
post about
And I
that,
think
but
people didn't pay her much attention because of that. Because you sat there for a very long time, and now
didn't she?
you're telling us how you were treated not so good as a woman, which it's not right. It's not right. But I think some of the fact that you sat there so long,
Getting that bag
people
up.
just kind of said, "Yeah, all right, Angela."
Right. And she walked away with a sour taste in her mouth, but she feel like she got the bag. But she ain't gonna talk about how the bag was more important than her integrity.
Yeah, and I said that in the beginning that I think the misgender thing bothered me more than Flame. That probably rolled right off of Flame's back, but Flame knows that the person that did the misgendering was being smart. They were
Yes.
being smart. Even if she does call herself he and all of that shit, she knew the intent was to be nasty. The intent was to be nasty. See, because it's not even. I think with my trans sisters, if somebody makes a mistake and says he, they're not going to like scream and yell. But if you say he and you're trying, it's intention. You say
Yes.
he
It's
trying to be cute, they'll
yes.
put your ass out.
And I feel like that too.
But how do we argue with that when Flame says he, she, we?
That's why I said I'm probably out of order, but it got under
The
my
vibe
claw,
was
so I
there.
pushed the button
And
and I
and
said
that's
so.
a personal. That's definitely a personal preference. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Yeah,
a
whatever.
personal
It's
preference.
not about
yeah.
the word, it's the tone, it's the
It wasn't
vibe.
right.
You
It
know
was
when
the
somebody
intent.
is
He
disrespecting
did
you.
that to hurt her. You literally you called in and your first piece of business was to hurt her. She ain't doing
Right.
nothing to you.
Right. Because if I
Those are
mispronounce
those are just
somebody,
some
or
those are just
I
some
would
ignorant fools.
apologize.
He was
Those are some
ignorant. He was
ignorant fools.
nasty. He was
Those are some
nasty. And that
ignorant.
was meant to be nasty. And listen, that's where we at. She ain't say nothing. Now I'm saying something.
Right.
I ain't like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it goes against all these years I've watched her, and I don't know. Maybe that throws me off. But to me, I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah,
well,
she probably didn't even care. She probably would say, James, whatever, don't worry about it. You know
Or
what I
I
mean?
think she would probably say, I knew when they said they were going to open up the calls, I knew I could get it. I knew
So she
I
can
could
get
get any
roasted
type
and
of call.
toasted. Yeah.
Well, the
There
main
could be
host
any
should have
type of call.
the main host should have made a statement saying that we will not tolerate any disrespect
right.
for our guests
Right.
when you call
And
in. So
hung
if you
up. If you
call,
can't talk,
hanging
if you
up. Period.
if you
But
can't
you're dealing with
acknowledge
two
the guest,
instigators.
you can call back another day.
You're
You
The
call
dealing
back
with
next
another
two.
day.
the next she we is not supposed to get treated the way she got treated.
But you're
Yep.
dealing with two instigators too, who co-host the show too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
Charlemagne is supposed to be Flair's BFF buddy
but he's
now.
still an
So
instigator. I could be your
you know,
I could be your BFF and
Charlamagne
still
ain't
be an
nobody's real
instigator.
friend, but anybody
I,
that disrespects that gets disrespected by Charlamagne, if they have it, and if you either see them cry, cuss him out, threaten him, or walk out. She didn't even do nothing
no,
to
I'm
Tyler.
just no, I'm being facetious, but I said that because of how much
You like
Flame
her?
will go in for Charlemagne. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and defend him just like he defends Tiffany because of the opportunities they've afforded him. Doesn't mean
right.
that it should be more than that. But yeah, he goes hard for Charlemagne. I
They
will
say,
say.
should we be upset if Flame isn't upset? And I'm gonna say this, probably not, but I am.
Hey, Flame,
What you got to do with her?
I'm
I
sorry.
haven't,
This ain't
It
got nothing to
bothers
do with
me.
Flame right now.
James, I haven't watched any of Flames. I don't know if he's went live since all this started happening.
No, I haven't seen her.
So,
She hasn't
oh,
said anything that I know of.
okay, that
Mm-mm.
says a lot. That says a lot.
That's normal though for her.
Right. I mean, Natalia, Dominique,
What's going on? Hello.
what's going on,
What?
Hey.
How you doing? How you doing, everybody? My thing is, Flame is no different than the girls who used to go on Jerry Springer.
Final thought.
So what's the problem?
Yes.
So you brought your ass up here to let me have it.
Yeah, girl. So you're sitting here saying that she was disrespected. Girl, I'm from New York. I'm a pageant girl. I'm a ballroom girl. You know I'm from that world.
Right.
So she's no different. The girls went on Jerry Springer to get coins. They went up there and they got called man, he, she, and they sat there and spent that check. So why we're not reading them?
I don't really respect that though.
So she's no different.
And I don't
That's
really
what you're saying. Don't respect her either.
Yeah, I don't respect. Yeah, I don't. So that's what I'm
really
saying.
respect
What Flame is doing? Girls has been doing that shit for decades.
That's sad.
It's been done for decades.
But you know who I am, don't you?
Okay.
And you know I was gonna push my button.
And you know who I am.
Right, I pushed the button yesterday. This hoe called me yesterday or this morning and said, girl. And then, here I am. I watched something after I talked to you this morning. I'm like, oh, and I pushed the button again. It's just in me.
I know you defend the girls. I get that. That's you.
I do, and as much as I say, I don't even care. Y'all just go ahead.
Me personally,
I'll be right back.
I don't do disrespect. If you allow somebody to disrespect you, that's your business. That don't affect me. They calling Flame a dude. Do not disrespect. That don't affect my life because I check you. That's on your responsibility as another girl to be checked on what you want to be called as.
And then sometimes, like for me, I know I could be a funny, shady bitch. So I know. Well, no. And I always tell people, like my grandma said, I know the difference if someone slip up and say he. I know the difference when somebody really, really made a mistake or, bitch, you be a funny bitch. Like I know
it's not
I could be funny and shady like that. So,
we girls do it to each other. I would call another girl, honey, Miss Thing, you a motherfucking dude.
Yeah.
We do it to each other.
But that platform, it's kind of weird because the platform itself, why be there for that? If you're gonna be about it, but she doesn't say she's about a check, and I never heard her speak as if she was about a check.
She has said that. She has said it.
Yeah, she has said
She
that.
has said it.
She has
She
said
said
she
Yeah,
support.
I've heard her say it don't matter what you
Yeah,
call me.
she has
Why
said
she
it.
has
Yeah, I
check?
heard her say that.
No, yeah, I know about the check part, but I'm
But
saying
Yeah,
she
don't
always,
also
bother.
said there's things that she will not do and let be done to her.
Right.
This was
She stated you can call me he, she, we as long as you pay me.
Yeah.
She said it. She said
And
it
I
all the
mean,
time.
and honestly, she hasn't said anything. That's me. It really is on me. It bothered me. So we might be making a situation where it's actually my situation. She ain't said shit.
But that's your thing. That's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
That's you. You know, you the
That just
messenger.
went along with the rest of the disrespect that was going on.
Yeah.
That just piled on to it. They was
I'm
throwing the whole kitchen sink. Yesterday it was the door, the front door. Today it was the kitchen sink, the refrigerator. You know, it was just they just kept piling
But
on. What's
she's
going
not the
on
only one
more?
that gets. She's not the only one that gets the kitchen sink thrown at her. I'm sorry, she's not the only girl that they throw that sink at. They throw the houses at certain girls.
They
Throw
do.
the
They
houses.
get mad, bro. They get Maddie all the way together every time she opened her mouth. Every time when she don't say nothing on a subject, they get in her DMs and they be like, "What's wrong, big mouth bitch? Why ain't you saying nothing?"
But if
That's
y'all,
how they do her.
all
if
the
we
time.
really,
You're right, James.
if
You're
we
absolutely
look at it, most fans and people, viewers, we treat all celebrities like that. They're damned if they do. They're damned if they
Exactly.
don't. So it's like,
It's who
that's
you
like
want.
if there's a gay issue, oh, such and such is not speaking up. And then I've been in a lot of places where I've seen people's publicists and stuff be like, "Child, don't say a word," and "Child, we ain't saying a word, no comment on
Right. Because
Because I was in a situation. Remember, I told you my situation. I was in a train living in New York here, and I was in a train with my girlfriends, and a guy was with his girlfriend, and they're on the train, and he tried to show off for her, saying all the dude things and all that. And when I'm getting off the train, he tried to kick me off the train, and you know me, honey, I have to turn back and say, "Bitch, wait as I fuck your man up." Honey, it's what you allow.
Yeah.
You can't pay me nothing. And
Brand
I haven't even started my channel because there's a lot of things. I'll never make a dime. I know I won't. I won't make 2 cents. I know I won't. They won't advertise me. None of that. Because it ain't going to take but one person to say something crazy. And then I'm going to see everything else coming. I'm going to see it all. And I'm going to attack it all. And I ain't going to do it in no way to
you
make
got to
it look
realize,
crazy.
too, I noticed a lot of people are commercial. A commercial only lasts 30 seconds.
That's true.
And then I've always taught by the best. My grandma. You catch real people by themselves and see if their bark is just as big, just as much as they made that statement out loud. When you catch them by themselves, 9 times out of 10 people don't have those same sentiments.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at this. Wait a minute. Somebody said, Flame tells you about that check, but we refuse to get vaccinated for a check.
Okay.
But see, that could be a whole nother step because a lot of people don't believe in vaccination. So I mean, itself, I don't know.
I don't know. That's her situation. Shit.
But listen, when they said that I ran down there,
you know me, honey. I'm 5 feet away, girl. Stay back, girl.
and we don't know if Flame eventually did get vaccinated after she had COVID. Because
I think she was still I see it on RZA channel too.
Cause living here, I see somebody who said they're from New York here too.
I live in New York,
so being living in New York what it gives.
You know what? I'd have to say this. I've had my fair share of people who try, but for the most part, actually, I'm gonna have to say this. I actually get backlash from other gay boys. I don't get from either black women or gay boys. I get the every now and again.
I get it from anybody.
It's where you're at. It's
like I said, it's what you tolerate.
Yeah, true.
Is what
And
Thomas.
again, y'all are in two different age brackets too. Do you think that plays a part in it, Dominique? Because Taj is young. Taj is my grandbaby.
Well,
Okay.
I'm
Young,
34.
so she got to earn her stripes. She ain't.
Well,
I'm 36, so.
Well, I'm 50.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that bitch is my age, Tom.
So I don't have time for.
It's understandable.
Yeah, so I don't have the time for. Hey, girl, you nasty bitch. Okay, bitch, let's fight.
Yeah.
Well, see, no, ma'am, now, that's some 50 by 8.
See, that's
50 by 8. I can go out with you.
because that's what I give. I'm the girl who fights the kids. I don't have
And
time.
I'm trying to get her to stop fighting.
I'm the girl who fights.
I'm trying to get. I want her to. I need her to take care of herself.
Yeah.
But I had to drop down on my grandbaby. She was giving the kids a fever, baby. I said, "You come here." Like, girl. So this is the beginnings of her walk. So that's where.
So you're new. So you're new then.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And then it's different for me because I'm a dancer, so I'm in the dance world. So it's totally, it's more accepting. Like I don't really. A lot of times I get things from the older ones, and I know they don't mean no harm. Like a couple of the ballet people, but I know they just don't mean no harm. And I work at Broadway dance.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know the difference. And I work at Broadway Dance Center, so I really don't get any crazy. I've never had any real issues where I've actually had to go off on people or get people together. I kind of walk around with a big smile on my I'm not in. I don't try to invite bad energy, or when I'm going somewhere, I'm not looking at people oh, what are they looking at? Are they looking? Even when I'm in dance classes, a lot of my friends would say, "Do you realize you're the only trans person in the room?" And I'll always say, "I'm a dancer. I'm not paying attention to. I'm the only girl in the room. I'm here for my gift."
Different people. There's different covers for different people. Maybe you shouldn't have to be out there fighting it, because I'm gonna be honest with you. My friends, I have friends that are, one has turned trans later in his life, and one, he was feminine his whole life. So when we was children, up until we started going out, you cannot walk up to this person in my presence and say MF thing terrible out the way or no such thing. He didn't have so many people around him fighting for him. He hardly had even fight for himself. Now he grown and you don't want to catch him in the street. But at that, but that's, if you don't have that around you at all times, you will probably turn into a real strong fighting person because you had to do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's everybody is different. And Flame is one of those people that you don't want to catch in the streets. And that's what it's very weird to see her turn a shell to the Breakfast Club.
Well, it's a money situation.
And that's sad. And it makes me see
but that's the thing. It's sad for us, but it's not sad for Flame. That's why I said earlier, Flame transition do not define my transition.
Facts.
Exactly.
So I see people talking about, oh, Flame is an advocate. Flame is not an advocate for me.
But Flame always says that my views are my views.
Yeah, exactly.
Every girl. Every girl part of the community, even if she's adversary to a lot of people's thought.
Yeah, because they do have where people get very, people have very, Flame said this, and I don't give a damn what girl says.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah, I won't throw her away. I mean, that's just me, because there's a lot of people that just, from the community is like, child, I don't want nothing to do with her and all of that kind of thing. I'm sorry, I can't throw her away. I'm not going to throw her.
And that's my thing. I don't like her views. They drag her. Oh well, honey. Okay, but that's not going to stop. Anything that goes on for my life.
True. My question kind of was, well, what's happening to where they can have Sydney Star, Is that her name? I think that's her name.
Another one. Another mess. Another
Oh
mess.
But the
Lord.
treatment was different.
Yeah,
The
I think
treatment
she's
was
a mess.
different.
I think she's a very
Another mess.
no.
The treatment was different.
The treatment was different
Yeah,
because
because Sydney Starr looked more real.
because they don't take Sydney Starr seriously.
Serious.
No, nobody.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Sydney is still
That's it.
young, so they don't take.
But
Sydney
there's
comes out.
also an element of her. She's younger, and Sydney looks more real. Sometimes that look well, that's just a real.
It's not only that Sydney looks more realer, it's that Sydney don't know what she's talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
So they don't take
That
Sydney
is,
serious.
that's a
Person up
reality
there.
star thing.
Yeah.
If you get a knowledgeable person up there and she's trans, and even though she has her views and y'all want this negative part of her and she don't give it to y'all, what does that say about the next person that come up there that was supposed to sit in that seat like she did, and then they get that?
But like I said earlier, when they had the trans girl, when Malik Yoba was talking about how he loves trans, and they had Carmen Carrera up there, they had two other trans women up there who were speaking knowledgeable things, and then a week later they had Flame who came and rebuked what they spoke, told me a lot. They told me a lot about what they really wanted.
They used her against her. Like, then they use herself against her.
So Flame goes along with the agenda of what they want. They had what's her name, Janet Mock up there, and she wasn't playing.
Yeah, see now, like why was Janet Mock? Well, I mean, I could see Janet Mock doing it as like a press run.
She did it. She had a press run, and they
sat
there
a press
and
run.
everything.
Other than that, why would she even be
They
there?
had Laverne Cox up there.
And Laverne too, unless he was doing, if it's press run.
Yeah, but see, you can't play with those girls because you play with those girls, they know how to throw it right back.
Yes,
but did they open the lines to callers when those two guests were there?
And those girls didn't allow the nonsense.
Yeah, they were.
Did
anybody playing with Janet Mock like
that's
that?
why I say it can't be about the bag.
Because you remember when?
It's just about who you are and how they view you.
Because you remember when Piers Morgan tried to insult Janet Mock, and she had to check him.
Yeah, anybody playing with Janet Mock like that? Janet Mock is. Nobody playing with her like that.
You're gonna start hearing people say Flame a part of that club. That's what you're gonna start hearing people say.
Oh Lord.
Oh, did the Illuminati? Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's the direction it's gonna go in. Because she let them clown her.
I hope not.
But did she let them clown her really? Did she?
Yes.
Did she really?
I ain't like it. I ain't like it.
Because I have seen Flame in other positions. Because that's how she had that feud with Cheryl Underwood.
Yeah, she let her have it.
And that feud, everybody thought that feud with Cheryl Underwood started on the comedy stage. It did not. That feud started on when Cheryl Underwood had that show, Old Drama, with Vanessa Bell Calloway on BET years ago. And they sat up there, and it was Flame and two other trans girls and a gay boy. And Flame and Cheryl Underwood was going at it. And Cheryl Underwood said to Flame, "Oh, you will never be a woman because you can't give birth." And Flame said to Cheryl, "Well, that's why you look like a gorilla."
Sorry.
And that's how that feud began. It didn't start from the stage. That's how it really began, from that show, Old Drama.
But now she being Cheryl Underwood.
Yeah. It's the money.
Because they tore that wig off of her, and did she not look like...
Oh yeah, well, I can see what you're saying.
I'm a black woman, so I'm not even saying it on no. I'm dark skinned black woman. You will never catch me looking. Never.
I can see what you're saying about her now being cool with Cheryl. It just made me think Cheryl's over there on the talk. CBS.
Yeah, Cheryl
around
is
all
on a
people.
big platform.
Cheryl can make something happen.
Yeah,
and I mean, after a while, you gotta let things go.
Because she
but Cheryl have her
like a dog.
Yeah, Cheryl have her now. They're friends.
Well,
they're
how
friends
long?
now.
How long ago did that happen?
To 50 years.
And she
Yeah,
No.
so
has
at
been
some
getting
point,
drugs
Yeah, at some
and
point you gotta let it
escalating
go.
for 50
yeah, at
years.
some point you
Yeah,
can
they working in
find
the same
with
No,
office. They got to let it
my
go.
point is Cheryl misgendered you. Cause that is misgender you. And you went hell
Wait a
for and
minute. Wait.
well, girl, you a dude, bitch.
Wait.
I can't.
Hold on, bitch.
What, girl?
No, you think I want to sit here and let you slide that on back?
What, girl?
She tried to walk on by my D-on voice.
Said,
Girl.
wait a minute. You just said that sure Underwood.
Girl, she said, bitch, you will never be a woman, girl.
Okay, wait. I heard when you said she misgendered her by calling her a monkey. I just think,
Girl, I did not say that. Girl, now see that you being
what
a
are you
shady
talking
bitch.
about?
You being a shady bitch, girl.
Well,
But,
girl, clarify. That just didn't seem
well,
right.
I said Cheryl misgendered you, girl. I ain't said nothing about
You're not gonna
Flame
say a
misgendered
monkey
Cheryl.
ain't no gender, honey. What you talking about?
I said Flame called Cheryl that, and that's when the whole feud began.
And she's
Okay.
been getting called that her whole career until she got to the top.
Yeah,
You got
she's
me
been
out
getting
for it.
called
The
that.
question
All right.
is Flame gonna get flamed until she get the biggest bag she can get?
But
That's
my
what I
thing,
want to
no,
know.
the point I'm trying to say, if you sat there and you went crazy when Flame misgendered you, but you sitting here and taking the other misgendered, what that says then? You went crazy then. That's because Cheryl couldn't do nothing for you back then. But now you sit there and taking all the misgender. What
But
that
maybe
says?
she didn't feel that back. Maybe back then, because that's what she was doing pageants and stuff. So maybe back then she was really living. And
Okay, girl,
feel
don't
like
try, girl. Don't, girl, whatever, Miss Honey.
she was being a
Whatever,
girl
bitch.
back then. Like she really was serious about being a girl
Girl,
back
she
then.
wasn't
She
winning Miss
wasn't jumping
Continental
in and
back
out,
then.
was she?
Girl, she was not winning Miss Continental back then,
yeah, you're
girl.
right, John.
Well, she didn't win, but was she jumping in and out? She stayed as a
No, she
girl.
Yeah, she said she was a girl.
Yeah, back then she stayed as a girl. So I think the misgendering stuff, and their kids were very young back then. Some of them wasn't even around. So maybe the
Well, you can't
misgendering
have it
thing
both
did
ways
her
now.
to think
Now you could
early in
now
her
you could take
transition.
it, but back then you couldn't take it.
Yeah, because she was early in her transition back then.
No, she was not, girl. She was still an old bitch.
But at the
That's
same
bad,
time,
girl.
but at the same time, though, it's more to me
Girl.
like, well, I might not be whatever you think I am, but F you for sitting here trying to tell me what you think I am. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
if
Cheryl was
Okay,
hitting
I
her
get that.
nose.
Yeah, I get that too.
and
Yeah,
then
Flame
Cheryl, a
does
lot of
call
people look at
herself
Cheryl
PC
and be like,
Weaver.
bitch,
She
you got
wasn't
me
doing that
sitting
back then,
dead.
I don't think. Back
What?
then,
no,
she
Flame
wasn't calling herself
was
DC
full
Weaver.
time, dressing like
Yeah,
a
she was
woman.
full time back then. To my knowledge, I thought she was full time.
I don't
So
think. I don't know. I don't know.
maybe having
Definitely on
children,
stage. No, definitely
Yeah,
on stage.
changed
She
some
was
things.
always a
people
female on
change over
stage.
time.
Now turn right onto South Bay.
Yeah, she was always a woman on stage.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
yeah,
part of her
yeah. Okay,
image.
well, let's go there. You were always a woman on stage who talk about your bird.
Well,
Okay, girl, come on now.
but that's Maddie's yours too.
I
Okay,
like that about them.
Agreed.
girl,
Tell me about it. What is it? What's going on? I mean,
girl.
that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean that's that. Listen, that's a selling point. Again, Maddie will tell you in a minute. I made $1 million using words that now you can't use, like tranny and she male.
Well,
I
true.
made $1 million
Well, that's
doing
true.
those things. That's part of her identity. You know what I mean? She's the big dick bitch. That's her. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So I mean, she's never You can't shame her with that because
Yeah, but
that
see, Maddie, you
would
can't
have hurt
shame
her.
because
Well,
Maddie.
not
But
now,
see,
but
that's the
that was
thing.
her selling
But
point.
that's the thing. But Maddie, that's her selling point. But Maddie also tells you, "I'm still a girl, transgender woman."
Yeah, she's a trans. No, she tells you I'm a straight transgender
Yes,
woman. Get it together, bitch.
Maddie don't go on the he, she, we, he gimmick.
Well, but then some people don't understand her either because she's so
I
freely
know,
talking about her
but
genitalia.
if
That's why a lot of the
but
community get mad at her.
if
But you
Flame
don't
chooses,
understand it. But there is no he in it.
No, there's no he. She never uses the he. She don't like the he shit. She don't like that.
Because
She don't
Maddie is
like that.
not the, and Flame is not the only one who talks about their birds. A lot of girls talk about their birds. There's a lot of girls out there who sleep with women who is trans. So
Right.
that's a whole nother situation that people
Yeah,
don't.
because that's their bedroom stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah, but see, but you're talking about Flame Bird. That's still her bedroom stuff. Her bird.
Yeah.
And she should be able to have that bird and also cut somebody out for acting like something wrong with her in any capacity. And that was my thing. I wouldn't care who it was that was up there. I ain't never seen nobody. Like I said, either somebody cry, they fight, or they walk off the set. But I ain't never seen nobody sit there and just take it on no Breakfast Club.
Yeah, now see, I'll go for this, Blaze, when she said it's like it's a gimmick because Flame for me kind of comes across no different than me. Like she's like a drag queen because she gets all the way up in it when she is performing. When she like you ain't like Milan Trezor shows up when there's a paycheck. She shows up for a paycheck. That's not who I am in my life. I'm James. And Flame completely dressed. And by the way, the bitch was clean. Like all the days that she been on there, even though it's like a podcast or on the radio,
She look good.
Flame been clean, sitting up there at the.
But when she's in them, she's always clean.
She's always been sharp. She be sharp, but
And
that's
her
what I'm saying.
aesthetic,
But
not
to get the
somebody
full
else's.
glam, she's only when she is performing. Because other than that, she dresses it all the way down. So I don't know. I think me myself, none of her stuff don't be bothering me because she kind of like a drag queen.
but even though Flame dresses like, I guess, a man during his daily life, I
Mhm.
mean, you can't remove that the breasts are there. It's still a look.
Exactly. Yeah,
He
she's a
don't walk
different kind
around
of
looking
thing.
like a masculine man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
It's
still
different.
looks like something that's different. I don't
Yeah.
even have a name for it, but
I think that
still
there's
has the
no.
breast, still
I
have the
think that
feminine tendencies.
I think that when you try to like talk about everybody as being human, you have to distance yourself from what you see.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why, as a fan of hers, because I'm not a fan of most of nobody, I'm on James's platform because I'm a fan of James. I like watching James. He entertained me every night on my TV. And that's why I'm here. And I watch all of the beefs and all of that stuff to watch you attack people for tearing you down, you know what I'm saying, in a certain type of way because I respect that. I only watch people that take up for themselves, defend themselves, and defend people that they love. And she just that was not that. I don't know who that was on the Breakfast Club.
It
I
was
think
hard. That you got the same. It was just hard for me. It was
it
hard
brought
for
me to
me.
you when you said something about it. And the only reason, like I said, I was anxious when I came up here because something about it just did not rub me right whatsoever. But maybe it's because that's one of my folks. That's one of the people I like to see in a different capacity.
Yeah, you want to see her get off. Want to see her light him up.
I'm up here, stressing myself out.
It was a little off-putting to see her.
But do you also think that Flame is also sitting back watching these videos and watching people talk about, it's creating the conversations, it's creating the buzz, whether it's
Absolutely.
negative or positive. And I'm just
Right.
waiting to see when Flame comes to debriefing after
Yeah.
this is all over, like, what will Flame say? Like, what
It'll be
Right,
on a
because she may
special.
tell me, I mean, and it could be anything because that's her. She's a wild card. Might tell, but she may not say anything to me at all. But she could come back and say, "Bitch, I don't need you to fight for me," or you know what I mean.
Right.
But that's all right because I done already done it.
Right.
Out
I seen
there.
a fake page. I seen a fake page of hers, and I sent her a message, and I showed her the page, and I was like, I watch you all the time. I don't know who this fake page is, but I know it's not you. And they emailing people and all types of stuff. I just want to know if you knew about it. And she said, well, I really don't. It's a lot of them fake pages out there. I ain't worried about it. They can't touch me. And everything that I hear her say over the years, the respect has never been about what's in her clothes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm detached from that part, because I know a lot of people that you wouldn't think look different under their clothes.
And the thing is, you did your part. You ain't got to walk around with knowing there was a fake page out there of her, or somebody was trying to hurt her bag, because that's what fake pages do. They mess up your bag. You did your part, no matter how she received it. You did your part.
I wouldn't
and
do
it was
it for
done in the right vein.
And Flame is at that age where Flame barely knows probably how to work, and I've seen Flame barely know how to work her own cell phone with getting on live and doing those things. You know what I mean? Like, Flame ain't the most tech savvy person, in the world. So, you know what I mean? Just saying.
So you fella, you are cracking up.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Listen. I don't regret. I don't regret pushing my button either day. I don't regret saying what I had to say. I felt as though I needed to speak up about it. I did not like it. And I like the Breakfast Club. I told you, I like their old shady behinds. I like it. It is cool. But I ain't going to take back what I said. I don't like what y'all did. I don't like the way y'all treated her. And I thought that they could have stopped it. If they would have stopped it when I said stop it, we wouldn't be where we are.
Right.
Because the disrespect just continued to get
So
bigger.
has there been smoke for Charlemagne or Envy or the production for not saying nothing? Like, are they catching smoke?
I'm not seeing any, they're not in their comments. There are some people saying they didn't have to do her like that, but they're talking more so about the crowd. They're not really saying anything about Charlemagne and Envy. That kind of was my
Because
statement.
ain't no backlash, girl. They dragged her, they dragged her.
Right. You're right. That's basically it.
Girl, they like, girl, what the hell? She ain't nobody different. She got dragged.
I find her. I put the responsibility on her because I expect that from them. Like, I've seen them do people a lot of ways, and you'll see people come on and advocate for other people on the show. Just like I said, when they keep coming at Charlemagne about the little mama and all the things. Anytime he hurt somebody tell him about himself. But I've seen him speak highly of Flame and say that she was a friend. I don't expect Charlemagne or DJ Envy, because both of them is some lames. I don't expect them to do anything, but I did expect more from her, and that's kind of the only reason why I even came up here, because I wanted to hear other people's opinion, and then it just felt weird to me. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I understand, but it's like, for me, I know what she's capable of giving.
Right.
Yes.
So for me to say, okay, I feel sorry for her, I don't, because I know what she gives.
I'm disappointed.
I feel like welcome to show
for
business.
me, to honestly tell the truth, I'm not even there. I'm not even there. Because I know because Flame has stated where she wants to go.
Right.
She stated where she wants to go and what she will do to get there. She stated it. So I can't argue with somebody who stated what their plan of life is.
Well, I'm going to take this time because we're winding down, because we've been here for 2 hours. 2 hours, almost 2 hours, 15 minutes. And I'm going to say this. My hat is off to everybody who participated in this live. We've had trans women. We've had natural born women. We've had males who are on the rainbow. Everybody acted like they had good sense, Everybody was respectful of one another. And I'm just going to say, I thank you all for that because I know that it can actually be done because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do panels where everybody's not screaming and hollering. Now I do a panel where they scream and holler now.
I'll be there for those.
We can all, this is just a small piece of you all can see. We all can actually coexist, talk about stuff that is touchy, not bite each other's head off. And you see, everybody got a different stance. Everybody got a different stance. And to my knowledge, it doesn't feel as though anybody's walking away feeling any kind of way. You got your point across. You were able to speak. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Somebody stop me now.
Oh, girl, please.
No. I'm going to jump down. I thank you so much. And everybody here was very, very, very respectable. And that's how you respect somebody because of how they deliver what they saying to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, everybody's human and you can be whatever subcategory of that you want to be. But at the end of the day, we all are going to go to sleep naked or with your pajamas on or whatever the case may be. We all the same. We're going to do the same. You're going to get on that toilet, you're going to go to work, and you're going to come back and do it again. So
well, some people don't go to work, girl.
Bless them. Bless them. Bless them. Bless them.
So you gonna eat, sit around, wait on your check? I'm just being funny.
Okay, bitch. Bye, bitch. I gotta go.
Love y'all. Love y'all much. I gotta go.
Good night, girl. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you all. I appreciate y'all. Listen, Nanny.
Thank you.
All right. Kick you down. Okay, there we go. Listen, again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming. Listen, this is what happens at my kitchen table. This is Kitchen Table Talk Live with Spiller Boy TV. And that's how we do it, y'all. You get in there and say what you got to say around the kitchen table. And you really don't have to close your mouth too much. You get to say what you want to say, period. And I still say, I ain't like it. I ain't like the way they treated her over there. That's that, and that's it. Listen, I love y'all. I will talk to you all later. See you on the flip side. Thank y'all for joining me. And listen, until next time, later.
And feel like